Hello people of the internet, let's do a little bit of a garden tour. Right now it is the end of June and my garden is looking pretty good in a lot of respects, but we've got some problems going on in the garden. So I'm going to show you the good and the bad of my garden. So first we have this area right here. This is a new garden patch for me. So these are 4 beds that are 4 foot wide, 15 feet long. I killed off the grass, or I killed off actually the cover crop. I did a cover crop here over winter, killed that off with a silage tarp, big giant piece of plastic, and then made my rows, my beds, and I'm having a little bit of issue with crabgrass, so I didn't get a complete blank slate. So that is going to be a fight this whole season. But my peppers are looking good. I've got peppers through here, and then some little tiny eggplants right here. This is like a Thai style. This one's not doing that well, but I've got more peppers through here. And then these other ones are very similar. They're a fairy tale eggplant. These guys, these little cuties right here. This might be a good thumbnail for this video. So I like these. I've made one batch with them where I did a saute with some jalapenos. Actually, the jalapenos are right there. With a little bit of fish sauce, soy sauce, and peanuts. You know, Thai inspired. So those are fun. Growing those. I've got some ground cherries, and then basil. I need to start even some more basil. We're a big pesto family, but this spot right here is actually bare. I don't love having bare open spots in the garden, but with focusing on the native plant nursery this year, some things aren't as far along in the garden as I would like them to be. These right here are the hibiscus plant. If you've ever had the hibiscus flower kind of tea or juice, I know it as bee sap from West Africa. So I have those go in there. And then watermelon. This bed looks sparsely planted, but all these things, once they get going, really should fill out that bed pretty nicely. Going into the raised bed garden area, starting off, I've got some planters right in here. Some don't really have much going on, but this calendula is looking lovely. And this right here is Apios americana, a groundnut. It is a plant native to North America, native to Kentucky, and it produces a tuber underground, the groundnut, that was an important food source for Native Americans. So that's a fun one that I'm growing. I've got a few different ones tucked around. Actually got those from someone who reached out to me on TikTok after I made some videos about native plants, and we did a little plant swap, which was really cool. This bed, empty. I had tried to do some salad mix in there about a few weeks ago, but I just didn't keep it watered enough, and it was just too hot. Salad or any of the lettuces don't like to germinate really when it's like over 70 degrees. So I really need to start those inside, then bring them out once they're nice and ready. A lot of stuff in this bed is ready to come out. Actually, this fennel is starting to go to flower, but I've got some good kales, some Swiss chard. I just ripped out my peas that were done, but then I put in some tomatoes on the back side over there. This bed, actually all these beds through here, I'm slowly trying to convert into either perennials or things that will readily self-seed, so I can not have to plant or worry about it every single year. The more I can move my gardening systems to that, where it's still very productive but a little bit more hands-off, the better. So I'm trialing this plant right here, which is a wild arugula. Yeah, that's arugula. So that will seed, drop seed, and hopefully continue to fill out this area. Got some poppies. I got those seeds from a friend from her grandmother's garden. Borage, that should drop seed. This, actually I don't even know what this plant is. Apparently it's some Italian plant. It is, you know, like a pot herb, a green. It's spinach tasting, but it's doing really well in here. So I'll see how that one does. I mean, it looks like it's putting on some flowers in seed pods, so hopefully that self-seeds. Dill, a volunteer tomato that I have that actually tastes really good and has a good skin, where some of the cherry tomatoes, they have a very thin skin, which is fine, but if it rains, they split. So this one seems to be maybe more durable. So this was an F2 generation of a hybrid. So I'll be saving these, and it may take a few years to stabilize the genetics, but I'm thinking of a video about seed saving, especially seed saving of hybrids, and how to go about doing that and think about it. The cardoon is related to the artichoke, but rather than putting on that flower bulb, you can eat the leaves, but I've been told that they're like not really that much worth the effort, but I'm growing them for the flowers. I've got my leeks right here. If you've got any good leek recipes, leave them in a comment down below. I did some the other day where I thinly sliced them and gave them a nice rinse, and then slowly cooked them down in butter until they disintegrated, and then put that on top of a medium rare steak. That was good. But I don't think I can eat that for every meal. Maybe a little too rich. I'm probably gonna ferment some, but if you've got other things, other ideas for the leeks. Spring onions, my patch of oregano, more of those Apios americana, American groundnut, and then I have some Mexican sunflower. This, another empty bed. I have some beets coming up in there, but again, just poor germination because I didn't stay on top of it. When it's warm, you really need to like keep it consistently moist for like the first 2 weeks, maybe even use shade cloth. So once I get back from a little trip we're gonna do, I'm gonna be either direct seeding a lot of these beds, beets, carrots, and other things, or starting stuff inside. This is a brassica bed. Most of the stuff has been pulled out, at least on the back half, but then I put some squash in there. I had started some summer squash over in the other garden, the rows that I'll show in a second. But those, they got hit real hard with squash beetles and didn't do well. So once cabbages came out, I had the row cover to protect them a little bit. More brassicas, some cabbages that are ready to go and pull out. My sweet potato beds, these ones are doing very well. And then over here on this raised bed, empty spots. Again, I don't love empty spots. Empty spots means that it's a place where a weed seed could germinate. A weed just being any plant that I don't want growing there. Anything can really be a weed, but also without plants and roots in the ground, you can have leaching, runoff, compaction of your soil when it rains. Those raindrops, heavy rains, actually can compact soil. So I want plants in there. So when I see these bare spots, it gives me a little bit of anxiety that I know I'm not doing the best for soil health in my garden. Some radishes, a bare spot, some regular arugula, and this is my bed of cilantro that just readily self-seeds. But I need to harvest the cilantro seeds because that's coriander. And then my strawberries. I've got two types of alpine strawberry, a red, a white, and then a June strawberry. And this bed, it was just absolutely full, but I think I'm going to expand into at least one other bed because I have an almost 2-year-old and I can't grow berries fast enough. And then this bed has a lot of herbs, some flowers volunteering in there, and some other stuff. And then, oh, this is A little, I guess, interesting feature of my garden. My little carnivorous plants, they stay out here. I did have some Venus flytraps right here, but a squirrel or chipmunk, I don't know who, ripped them out. So I need to get some more and maybe protect them a little bit better. But these are fun. And then this is a wapato or duck potato, broadleaf arrowhead. Got several common and indigenous names, but grew those from seed. Grew that one from seed. I've got more in the back. So that is the raised bed garden area. This is the garden that I built first when we moved in. That garden, this garden right here, this is year 4. Year 4 on the garden in these raised beds. Pine, untreated, still doing well. Is it year 4? 2022 moved it, so 2023, 4, 5. Yeah, this is year 4. Let me turn off my electric fence. This is a new fence. I've got some bunnies though, little baby bunnies that are going kind of right under it in certain spots. I'm not getting it full, good ground contact. So I need to work on that. Because I'm planting some things in here that are bunny treats. But I do like this fence of how easy it was to put together, and I am keeping away some of the bigger critters. I haven't seen larger critter damage, and I haven't seen anything on my trail cams that I keep out here to kind of keep stock of what's going on. Here are where I had my squash. These 2 are empty. They got hit hard. That one's coming along finally. This as well. It would be typically, I should have squash right now. The summer squash coming out on, but just don't. This tomato plant right here was one that I put out, I guess, earlier maybe than I should have, kind of risking it with the cold. It's doing the best. It's been out here the longest. It had some close calls that I didn't protect it, but it's still doing great. Got a spaghetti squash here, and then another spaghetti squash, and then I have 2 little cantaloupes that I hope will do something, followed by some okra, and then more leeks over here, and onions that are just now starting to flop and ready. And I've got open spots where I've pulled other onions. And I think I'm gonna put some corn right here. Just do a little corn patch. I still have enough time where I'll do corn of a shorter variety, somewhere in the 65 to 70 days. That'll be ready, in September, towards the end of September. So that'll be fine. Here I've got tomatoes through here, up on kind of single leader, up on a trellis, except for one that fell over. So that one I'm just letting go. But this is my wall of cherry tomatoes. I've got 4 different varieties, 2 each. So it's like 2, 2, 2, 2, for a total of 8. So these are just now starting to produce. Got my green beans right here, and then my little stand of corn, which is now just starting to look good. It's not as dense as I would like. I think I had some birds coming in and actually pulling the corn when it was first germinating, so I've got a little bit sparse spots in there, but I think it's still dense enough where I'm going to get a good pollination on it. So you need your corn dense enough, because the tassel on the top is the male, and then that releases the pollen that then falls down on the part of the stalk, the silk, and each one of those silks needs to be pollinated to then travel down to make the corn kernel, which is the seed. And if you don't have it dense enough, you're not gonna get corn that is full on the ear. So that's why density matters. I think that it'll still be okay. My wall of beans and my bean trellis right here. These are the a best greasy bean. There's this guy, Bill Best, who is a big seed saver here in Kentucky. I'm kind of like famous, infamous within the seed saving community, and those are the ones from his mother, maybe even grandmother, from his family, so long lineage. They've got sweet potatoes through here. They're getting hit a little bit by those rabbits. I'm hoping that when the rabbits get a little bit bigger, that they're going to hit the electric fence when they try to get under it. My cukes, looks like I got one ready for cucumbers. If you're growing cucumbers, you need to stay on top of them, because if you let a cucumber fully mature, the cucumber plant thinks, I did my job, I succeeded. I made a fruit that reached full maturity, that has viable seeds, and now I don't have to worry as much. I can slow down production. So you need to stay on top of it, picking those cucumbers, so it encourages the plant to continue to produce. That's all plants want to do. They want to make babies, and we eat those babies for things like cucumbers, squashes, where we're eating the fruits rather than the vegetation, the leaves, or the immature flowers, like a broccoli. That's what a broccoli is, an immature flower. Here, empty, but that's because I pulled out 300 cloves of garlic a week ago. Was it a week ago? 5 days ago. And now they're down in my building curing, and they'll cure down there for 2-3 weeks, and once they all dry up, I'll clean them up, clip them, bring them inside. Some I will freeze, some I'll dehydrate, but I'll try to eat most of it fresh. And then my tomatoes, some tomatillos. I'm doing mostly paste style tomatoes, so I can do sauces, but then I have things like the ox heart. This one, not doing well, so it has some sort of early blight or wilt. Probably should pull it out because it's right next to another one, but that one seems to be doing fine and is unscathed. And it's got a tomato that's turning red. There's always a struggle of like what I should ideally do, what I know to be right. If I was a larger farmer with more fields of stuff and I had one tomato going bad, yeah, I would probably rip that one. Being a smaller scale gardener, even though I've got a massive garden, I struggle to pull something out like this. But lots of tomatoes there. Oh, there goes one of my little bunnies. But outside the garden, a lot of tomatoes, and then so here's my compost squash, doing great. Always grow the best squash in the compost. They're heavy feeders, and looking at the fruits, it does look like the tromboncino. So I need to eat a few to see how the flavor is. Squash can be very difficult. There's 4 or 5 species of squash, and they can hybridize with one another, and then of course within the same species, like I always forget which ones are, if this is the pepido, but the tromboncino is in the same genus as the butternut squash. So if you have those near each other, they're going to cross-pollinate. A bee is going to go from one to the other. So you have to do some sort of occlusion if you want to save seeds, which I will be doing on the tromboncinos I'm growing this year. Didn't do it last year, so who knows what this is. But they look to be good, so I'll cut one of those up. And then the native orchard back here, doing well. I think I may get some persimmons. I'll get some American plums. My blackberries are just starting to ripen up. Those are all looking good in there. I'm not going to get any pawpaws from here. Those plants are only, the oldest one is like 3-4 years old. Pawpaw shouldn't produce until year 6 or 7, so more time there. I have some pawpaws in the other part of my property, deep in the woods, and then have a few local spots that I know of and go to for my pawpaw fruits. Let me know if you don't know what a pawpaw is. I made a video about the pawpaws. But that's the garden. The garden back here, the vegetable garden. the native plant gardens and all the other plantings in the woods and around the property are many and immense, but this is the veggie stuff, the stuff that I grow to eat. Hope your gardens are going well. It is now getting into the point where I start getting a little worn out of the garden as we approach July and August. All the excitement in the early spring, things are warming up, you've got all this stuff to do, planting, and then as soon as it starts warming up and the rain starts happening, just staying on top of the weeds and everything else can be a lot, but I love it. All right, talk to you later. Bye.